You know, I'm seeing a pattern here, and I do have a right to speak upon it. That video I just made was a whole bunch of my evidence and proof. I found some of it from different places. So, this is something I do pay attention to. Now, this is going to sound like really strange and really odd, but it's going to make sense. You know, there's been 2 times that this miserable person has spoken upon my life. One, she threatened to skull fuck me. That was a rape threat. Something happened towards me. And then now, she was talking about tampering with my evidence and proof that I had. Like, it's always leading back to her. Like, she's not very that intelligent at that either. It's like, she says something, and then something bad goes on. You know, it leads back to her. From what she threatened me with, something happened towards me. I was almost killed with a pillow in my sleep. First, she opened her mouth towards me. Second time, she was talking about she hoped that everything was deleted. Guess what? She was talking about getting my stuff, my proof and truth and evidence to be tampered with. And then all of a sudden, that YouTube, everything I had was tampered with. That's what she was really talking about. So, this is where I'm getting at. Like, don't you think like that's kind of like odd and strange? That it always leads back to Abigail Hampton for what she does? It's kind of odd and strange. That's why they tell people, don't be running your mouth, because all that stuff that's happened towards me, people can easily blame her for some of the stuff because she's the one who spoke upon it. And I've noticed that. She was trying to tamper with every proof and evidence I had because she didn't want to get caught with all them peoples of names and all the rest of the people that were harassing me, stalking me. They were doing Rico acts, organization, interprices. You know, that's really odd and strange. I do pay attention to that. And just now seeing it today, because something told me to pay attention to something to what she said. There was 2 times this woman, Abigail Hampton, likes to run her mouth a lot. And it always leads back to her. You know, that's an easy way for people to blame her for what's happening and what's been going on. And plus, when I got down to the nitty-gritty of people's names stacked up, she didn't like it. Of everything I had proof and evidence against on, she did not like it. So there was another time, actually there's been a couple of people who has tried to tamper with my evidence. That's a crime committed. So this is where I'm getting at. A lot of people laughed when she threatened that upon me. And then when I had to go around and ask people, is it true? Did someone really try to get me raped and smothered me with a pillow? And a lot of people said, yeah, that happened to you in your sleep. So she's guilty on that for putting a hit rape out on me. And then she's spoken upon that she was going to stalk me, she was going to harass me. Don't look good on her, because she tried to get me community mobbed because she was embarrassed at the time, because I had solid proof of everything I needed to protect myself from people like her and all the others. So, from her stating and talking about she was wishing and hoping that someone would delete everything I had. And then guess what happened? My stuff was tampered with. Don't you think that's kind of odd and strange that everything leads back to Abigail Hampton too? Certain bikers, people in the community, enterprises, I believe it's when I started revealing enterprises, like really down to the nitty gritty of serious crimes that people have done towards me, is what freaked her out, what really spooked her, what really intimidated her. Because she didn't want to face any accountability for what she's ever done to me. And then she started to realize it wasn't just her. There were people from my past, and Rico, an organization, I had a whole bunch of proof and evidence that people were repeating the exact same thing. People were pulling homicide attempts on me. People were pulling attempts to get me murdered, and it freaked her out. So that's why I pay very close attention to what she said there. You know, that's really odd and strange that everything goes back to her. Certain people within the community. So, you know, they can easily blame Abigail Hampton for stating that, and then something happened towards me 2 different times. That don't look good. That's why they always say, be careful what you say to people, because that can easily fall back upon the person who said it out of their mouth. Regardless if it was a post, it don't matter. That could easily fall back on her so fast and so quickly. And I already knew she already had her flying monkeys in the middle of it. So she had other abusers. She had other people to get involved with her abuse by proxy. Her community mobbing me. So for whoever she had in the middle of that to get my evidence and proof tampered with, she always has people doing her dirty work so it don't come back on her, but she doesn't fully understand or don't realize she's the one who said it. She's the one who made personal threats towards me. She's the one who said things and then stuff happens towards me. On a level of understanding the human mind, thinking on a logical level, people would look at Abigail Hampton and go, what the crap did you do to this person? Because it always seems to lead back to her. Because of what she threatens. It's how she runs her mouth that can get her caught up. And then, like I said, when I started to have video recordings of literally people harassing me, following me, stalking me, predators doing what they were doing, I had every proof and every evidence to back up to what was going on towards me. And she tampered with my proof and evidence. on my YouTube channel over because she felt threatened because I had very solid proof of repeating patterns. And you know, that really don't look good. And knowing that it states there too, that if anybody even talks about tampering with your evidence, they're considered guilty and it's a crime. And they can end up in jail for even talking about it, speaking upon it, or thinking about it. That blame could easily go back upon her to why my YouTube channel was tampered with. And her tampering with my evidence, she made a whole bunch of people look very bad and very guilty because of her behavior. Like, does she not get it, or does she not understand that? From her tampering, her saying it out of her own mouth, that she was gonna have me, or she wishes everything was deleted off my YouTube. You know, that makes for every person I've named off that you've had involved. You're making everybody look guilty by your actions. I just seen that and just paid attention to that. You tampered with my evidence. It came out of your mouth because I posted it, what she said. That's a crime. You're making everybody look bad. That means from one action, it hurts everybody else. From her saying that she was going to get my stuff tampered with, my evidence, my proof, Abigail Hampton just hurted every person I've named off. Every person I've had proof and evidence against. She hurted a lot of people. So it could have been her that got on a fake name because she said that in one of her posts when she was ranting towards me that she was going to make fake profiles to harass me on everything I'm on. So that would make sense. I believe that was her. That Rusty could be a good possibility because of how the way she spoke towards me. She was telling me how she was going to do stuff towards me. By her threatening that she was going to skull fuck me, that was a rape threat. Things happened towards me. And then she started talking about making me delete everything I had. When I had very serious, like I was building up a case on a lot of criminals. She is probably the one who was Rusty, who tampered with all my evidence. September 14th, I bet you 1,000% it may have been Abigail Hampton because of how she spoke. That she was gonna use fake names to stalk and harass me on everything that I'm on. So you got to put two and two together. If she's making threats like that towards me, and then she says that out of her own mouth, and then stuff starts happening towards me, that can lead back to her. But she doesn't understand by her actions of words, she could easily be blamed for a crime because she's the only one who's spoken up and was getting all cocky with that mouth towards me. She was pretty much planning and pretty much trying to tell me how she was going to treat me, how the way she was going to do things. It always seems to lead back. But her tampering with my evidence, that hurt a lot of people. That means you've made a lot of people look guilty. That it could be very questionable here is what she doesn't understand. And by her saying that out of her own mouth, because I posted it up, what she said, what she threatened, And then all of a sudden, everything I had was gone. It was probably her who tampered with my YouTube. And it would actually make sense. But then again, Abigail Hampton likes to manipulate people and use others to do her dirty work for her so she don't get caught. But she's the one who said it, that came out of her mouth. She said some things when she was mad. That can easily fall back on her. And she's hurted everybody. Anybody who's done enterprises on me. The cops, the FBI, the bikers. Abigail Hampton just hurted a whole bunch of people and made people look very worse out here by her actions. Just by one person's actions, she's hurt a lot of people. A lot of people are going to question what are people guilty of, because by getting rid of my proof and evidence, she made everybody look bad. Everybody's guilty. She was spooked by everything I had. I was even going out and about and showing on video what was going on. I was explaining that this is enterprises. She didn't like that. I had solid proof against every person. Every name I've said off. She didn't like that. And Skylar was even throwing a fit. So, that even makes Abigail Hampton look really worser. And it can even make people question her. Because you gotta think, most of my evidence and proof with that large video is not even half of what I had. It's enough to prove that enterprises, people doing repeating patterns of harassing me because they were hired by the cops. There were multiple hits out on me, and Abigail Hampton was right in the middle of it with others. And like I said, I've even talked about how many times people were trying to pull attempt homicides on me for a long time. That even spooked her even more. So it kind of makes me wonder if she was the dummy criminal who made that Rusty name and got rid of my proof and evidence. And you know, that is a crime. It does not matter in the eyes of others. It's like, what are you guilty of? I even had proof showing where she was harassing me and keeping it up for months. And she wouldn't knock it off, knowing she's the one who had a restraining order and she wouldn't knock it off. She lied to the court system. She manipulated the court systems pretty badly. And then come to find out later on, she was the one abusing her kid. She tried to blame me for it. Kind of sounds familiar with Shonda Baker's situation. Mothers who, actually, the one with Shonda Baker was that she was trying to lie upon me and saying that I threatened to abuse her kid when I did not. Shonda Baker lied upon that. And then we got another mother who likes to abuse their kid and tries to blame others for it when it's really Abigail Hampton abusing her own kid. And then we had another mother who tried to use their kids as a weapon. So you kind of see the patterns here. Kind of odd and strange to me that the whole entire time Abigail Hampton abuses her kid every day. And it's actually kind of funny and strange. I was talking to adults. Abigail Hampton kept bringing up kids. Think about that. Really logically think about that. Why would Abigail Hampton try to blame me for something she does to her own kid? She beats the fuck out of her kid. She hits her kid all the damn time. Why in the fuck would she sit there and lie about it? That's what she didn't like. I was showing proof how many times she was harassing me. She didn't like that. And then when I caught her accomplices associations, and then when she found out that there was people from my past was pulling the exact same thing, I can actually, you gotta understand, she got scared because I've proven repeated patterns. I've proven there's been Rico in organization. I've proven about enterprises. And enterprises is that you have to show proof that people are constantly harassing you, people constantly trying to hurt you, like repeating patterns. And I had it. That's what apparently she didn't like. It spooked her, it freaked her out. So that's what I'm saying, though. A lot of these people are not very intelligent, very much to the brain. Some of these people were actually trying to get me Facebook mobbed, community mobbed, and then community murdered. And Abigail Hampton knew she was helping out people when she figured it out. So this is where I'm getting at. Why does it always seem to lead back to my attackers when something happens towards me? You've hurting a lot of people by tampering and even speaking upon it and even thinking about it. You know, they can easily suspicion you for tampering with my proof and evidence because it came out of your mouth because of what you said. They could easily blame you for it, and it's a crime. And actually, a person who tampers with your evidence is because the person's scared, they're intimidated, or they're in fear. So they think by even just speaking upon it or thinking about it, that person had it in mind that they were going to tamper with my proof and evidence. And she stupidly said it right out of her mouth. She was planning on tampering with everything I had. When literally, that can make a lot of people look very guilty. And who are you protecting to try to hurt and harm me? What type of homicides? You gotta think, there was a lot of hits out on me. There was a lot of people trying to kill me. There was a lot of people doing enterprises on me. And I proved it. I had a lot of proof and evidence to back up to what I was explaining about. And I had somewhat proof and evidence and facts to show what I said, that I was accurate to what was really going on, to what these people were really up to. And then I think what really spooked her is when I started talking about the police, the FBI, the cults, the Freemasons who put a hit out on me. And then when I started talking about bikers, that spooked her even more out here. She didn't like it. Well, guess what? From you said you were planning on what you were going to do of tampering with my evidence. That can look back on her. And I even had proof to show that she was harassing me on everything, and that also came out of her mouth. She was going to harass me on everything and anything on a fake account. Fake accounts of not leaving my life alone. That came out of her mouth. So the community mobbing, the Facebook mobbing, you gotta understand, all my proof and evidence is not gone. I'll tell you that. It's not gone. It's not missing. A lot of people has already seen it, and that's what she's probably embarrassed about. From someone who literally thought they knew everything. They didn't. That comes to show that people should mind their own business, that they should stop jumping on the hate train and stop trying to attack people in groups. She was probably scared of every proof and evidence and whatever I was talking about, explaining about, and I had videos up showing, explaining how many times people were stalking me, following me, predators trying to follow me home, people were stalking me. I had proof of everything, and that made her mad. Just by her saying that, she wished that everything was deleted, and even a cop even stated that. So a cop and Abigail Hampton are two people that I know of who has threatened and gotten mad trying to get me to get rid of and trying to tamper with my proof and evidence. It was a cop or a sheriff. I don't know how true that is. It's hard telling. And then Abigail Hampton and a cop were... So it kind of makes me wonder if, like I said, the Enterprises, people already knows for what was going on. And, you gotta learn when to stop, when someone says stop, or stay out of it. And people tampering with that YouTube account, she's hurting everybody. And common sensely, people would go back and blame her and bitch her out because she made everybody look guilty as hell, worser than what it needs to be. Making people look really bad. Of like, who's protecting whom? So you gotta think, there were cops, there were FBIs, probably the government, bikers, people within the community, in town, out of states. There was a whole bunch of people being paid to mess with me too. So you gotta think, if somebody was saying it, thinking it, that makes a whole bunch of people of their accomplices in association. That don't even make the bikers look good either. That means you were trying to stop from me protecting myself from very harmful people, from felons. You wanted me to keep getting hurt. You wanted me to get harmed. And by you saying you were going to tamper with my evidence, you look guilty as hell. Normal people don't dare to tamper with people's evidence like that because they know that can lead to prison or jail time. And I had every right to post up my proof and evidence and facts. That did not give a person a right to come in, and that means everybody could be questioned. They've already seen the names of people, their accomplices, their associations. That can even get the FBI questioned, the cops questioned, Abigail Hampton questioned, and all other people I've talked about, because Abigail Hampton and Skylar Lemon is always bringing people in the middle of stuff when they should not be doing it. So, I just thought I would say this real quick. You're the one who talked about tampering with my evidence. That can easily fall back on Abigail Hampton so quick and so fast. And if people realizes what she said out of her own mouth, you're going to make everybody in a panic because of your action of what you did, what you were thinking. And usually when people are saying it, thinking it, that means they're going to try to tamper with everything you have. So she was thinking about it, and she probably did it. And she acted upon it. Now, you're going to make a lot of people nervous out here. You know, all it takes is one idiot to do something, and then everybody's going to be in a panic. Everybody's going to start, like, wanting to run and scatter. Because anybody knows it makes people look very bad. It makes people look very guilty. And the people who do tamper with your evidence is because they didn't want to get caught. Well, she just made it worse upon herself. Every person I've named, I don't care, from gay cocks and down, patterns I've really seriously talked about. And then about my mom and about me and how many times people has been pulling stuff to try to unalive me. They've been pulling homicides on me, attempt murders upon me. There's been people putting hits out on me. And Abigail Hampton is always around people who's always had it out on me. And I already got proof and evidence about certain things and situations. It's already seen. Not all my evidence is gone. And that's really sad and really pitiful that I had to see this today. But yeah, I just figured I would say that. You make every person look guilty. And that can actually get a lot of people questioned out here. Because just of your action, of what you said, what you think you were going to do. And usually people are not stupid. A lot of people can see through that manipulation. And you won't be able to get out of it. Because clearly you're stating what you're going to do. You're stating clearly how you're going to mistreat me, how you're going to abuse me, and how you're going to terrorize my life. And it's sad. You had to get others involved, too. It's really sad and really pitiful at the end of the day. So just know and understand that I do have a right to speak upon this. And it does add up, and it does make sense. From everything you have said, stuff always happens towards me. Like your first threat. You should have been careful with that. Because stuff did happen towards me. There was a hit out on me. And then a second time, your own mouth, you said you want everything deleted off my stuff. You were talking about tampering with my evidence. Abigail Hampton, you need to start shutting the fuck up. You need to start leaving people alone. Because it seems like it always goes back to you and Skylar Lemon and all the people who has attacked me. It seems like you are the real problem here. You are the real issue here. And you're trying to do something out here to try to make it seem like, oh, well, I'm the problem. Really, truthfully, you've ganged up on me with a whole bunch of bikers. You've ganged up on me with the FBI and the cops, the secret society, the Illuminati, and the occults. And the occults actually did something where they had a headless dog outside my apartment. Literally, its head cut off. That was a death threat from the occults, the secret society, the Illuminati. And that actually does add up to where a 32-degree Mason had a hit out on me. And that headless dog, its head cut off legitly. That was a death threat, saying that they had a hit out on me. And they had a whole bunch of people involved in that. And then I almost got killed by the cops 2 different times because of people and their dumb shit. And because bikers also had a hit out on me. That's what I'm saying, though. Abigail Hampton, you need to start shutting the fuck up. Because you're making everybody look bad. You had everybody to community mob me over because you were actually harassing me. You abuse your kid, not me. You ain't gonna do this blaming bullshit. Or maybe that's what it is. Maybe you felt embarrassed because you got found out that you were the one that you abused your own daughter. And you try to blame me for it. Just like Shonda Baker. That's how exactly I almost got killed. Was because of Shonda Baker was running her mouth and people running their mouths. That wasn't even true. That's exactly how I get hurt out here. And that's probably what spooks the hell out of her. And I still remember most of those people. Some of them were actually bad cousins who were involved in all that BS. Even possibly Abigail Hampton could possibly be a cousin. Could be a good possibility. Like I said, I've gotten most of the names. Some of them were bad cousins who were always involved in some mess, trying to pull homicides on me, trying to get me killed, trying to get me unalived. And from you saying that you were going to tamper with my evidence, that can actually fall back on you, Abigail Hampton. You don't realize that your mouth and actions of what you say to me and stuff happen towards me, that's your threat, technically, what you're going to do to me. There's been 2 times you've opened your mouth too many times. You've made a whole bunch of people try to gang up on me and target me because you were the one who were actually harassing me the whole entire time. I told you, stay out of it. And then you had to bring in everybody and anybody involved. When others were bringing in other people too. I don't know where the GDs come in. Because last time I was told they had nothing to do with it. So these people lied of who they were. So, just like I said, there was a hit out on me in Lafayette. There was a hit out on me from a Freemason. There was a hit out on me because of Shonda Baker from 2016 tried to attempt murder me. Someone tried to get me killed at the exact same time as my mother. Someone tried to do something. And then someone tried to burn me, trying to burn me alive when I was on my second home. I was almost attempted murdered in 2016. It's like, how much further do I need to go that I've gotten most of the people were confessing things? And you tampered with that. People were admitting leaving groups, in groups. People were sorry for even showing up to attack me. They were manipulated. You tampered with that. That's what I'm saying, though. You've hurt a lot of people out here from your actions of your mouth, of how many times you literally just don't know how to leave me alone. You and Skylar Lemon are fucking pathetic losers out here for what you do to me all the damn time. And plus, the bikers, I was already kidnapped once. An outlaw tried to threaten it, then another group tried to threaten it. One tried to act upon it a second time around when I was at the mall. So it's like, shut the fuck up, Abigail Hampton. You don't know everything and anything, neither do others. Shut up. Shut your fucking mouth, Abigail Hampton. You don't know shit for shit. Shut your fucking mouth if you don't know the full stories to what I've talked about. I have a lot of proof and evidence to protect myself, and you took that away from me. From your mouth. Now you got everybody mad out here. And you're literally pissing off a lot of fucking people. And you do. Because you made a lot of people stupid for standing up for you. When they seen later on that they should have not helped you to community mob me or community murder me. And then also on top of that, Abigail Hampton went towards the Mongols and told them to slit my throat. And then after eventually when I got into everything, after I was almost attempted on by the cops, like I said, there has been a lot of attempts. People has pulled. There's been bikers who are guilty too, and they know who the fuck they are. You people just need to learn when to shut up and stay out of it. Know your fucking facts. Stop bringing people in the middle of it who don't deserve it. That's what really pisses me off. You don't know my life story. You think you did. But then it got to the point to where you finally realized, well, this is not funny. This is no games anymore. It was never funny. You stupid bitch. And then you want to sit there and bitch about certain things. It's almost like you want to poke at people. But when someone pokes back at you, you want to throw a fucking fit. You try to throw people in jail over something you do, what you've done. You try to throw innocent people in jail, knowing that once you realized what I was talking about was very serious with enterprises, repeating patterns, people doing gun threats on me, people doing knife threats on me. That's when you said, well, you need to stop talking. No. You need to learn how to mind your own fucking business. It's what the fuck you need to do. I'm getting so sick and tired of somebody saying something out of their own mouths, how they're going to do it, what they're going to do, and then all of a sudden, all my stuff was deleted. Was because of her. Her doing. And that's technically a crime. So that can actually go back upon her. That can actually get her blamed. Because she's the one who said it out of her mouth. I posted it. What she said in her threats and her tones. And then you had a lot of people ganging up on me. And community mobbed me. And then you had a lot of people involved that should have not been involved. In the middle of it, there's a lot of things that I can prove and back up, and I bet you that's what scared her the most. And if she did, now you gotta think, I just posted it up not that long ago of her stating, well, I really wish everything on your stuff would be deleted. Well, guess what? You and a cop just admitted that. Okay? There's been you, Abigail Hampton, and a cop threatened the exact same thing of what you said to me that a sheriff or a cop said to me was trying to tamper with my evidence and proof. That don't look good on you. Others were leaving my stuff alone because they knew that tampering with evidence, they know to leave it alone. You didn't. You were thinking it. You thought it. So it kind of makes me wonder if that Rusty was actually Abigail Hampton from the get-go. So like I said, I do remember certain things, patterns, what people are doing. Don't get mad at me. You need to actually go blame yourself because you wouldn't leave me the fuck alone. I had a whole bunch of people ganging up on me with a whole bunch of different groups. But like I said, there were some who said sorry. Some were sent to attack me and some of them backed off because some of them realized what was really going on. They realized I was constantly being stalked. A lot of people realized I was being attacked and targeted by people. That's when actually a one dude said, well, I cannot get on that YouTube anymore because it got tampered with, but it was there. Someone confessed of leaving a group of people. I can't show that because that YouTube's gone. So that's what I'm saying though. That's what it is. Then you should have left a person alone. And it really irritates me because at the time I really wasn't paying attention to what she said back then. And it's like it kind of takes me a while to process, whoa, wait a minute. What did she just say to me? And then come to realize she was thinking, or she may have committed a crime of getting my stuff tampered with. She could have, because she thought about it. She was talking about it. And she wanted everything I had, proof and evidence-wise, to be deleted. Abigail Hampton was talking about getting everything I had, my proof and evidence, to get deleted. That's you admitting you wanted my evidence to be tampered with. That's what I'm saying, though. Some people are not that bright out here. I have already talked about her personality. She is such a narcissistic person. She has like no thinking. She's like black and white. Her personality is so bad that she enjoys hurting people. But then usually when narcissists realizes that they are caught, their personality, that also made her mad. Because that's what she does. She will abuse the justice system. She will lie to the court system. She will try to manipulate and play them like a fool, which is not very smart on her end. And trying to do something to where the justice system looks very stupid or they feel humiliated is what you don't do to them. They take that very personal. If someone like Abigail Hampton gets found out that she tried to make the justice system look stupid, or she tried to manipulate and lie to them, that's making them look stupid. I really don't think she understands. With all my proof and evidence I had was for my protection. I was dealing with felons, murderers, killers, sex traffickers, predators, people who were sent, people who were paid by the FBI to fuck with me and screw with me. And even an FBI actually used this Teresa law. That's even deleted too. I was literally understanding that she was trying to hurt somebody, or the FBI tried to do something to someone in prison, to hurt someone in jail or prison. And then come to find out, people are using people from prisons or jails to try to act out. Or somebody from the inside. It's hard telling. She doesn't understand. She needs to learn when to shut the fuck up and stay out of it. Because others are not going to get involved in it no more. Abigail Hampton's excuses are out the door. I was catching criminals, and she didn't like it. I was protecting myself. I was protecting my life safety. I was actually protecting myself from harmful people. There was bullets found in my home. Like I said, bikers started to act up, threatening they're going to shoot me. She needs to learn when to shut up and quit putting others in the middle of it. I have everybody's name, but ever since some of my stuff did get tampered with, it's kind of hard to get them all. But it's mainly most of the people. That's what I'm saying, though. People should be careful of what they do to others, because that could fall back on her. And if they find out she was thinking it, thought it, she could have gotten another person involved, which would be her accomplice or association, to do it to where she wouldn't get caught. She will get caught if she did that, because that's, I don't know what you call that. That's like helping someone to commit a crime. She always does this stupid shit. She's always trying to bring people in the middle of it. And then I had to get somebody off my Facebook who was trying to get me Facebook mobbed. There was a whole bunch of people. I had to get, like, people off my Facebook for those reasons. Because people, all they wanted to do was stalk me, harass me. They tried to confuse me. They tried to manipulate me. It didn't work. Because I knew why they were here. They were paid by the FBI to fuck with me. They were here on my social media because they literally thought they were funny and giggity. And then come to find out that that code threat can't hear it no more because it's gone. That proof is gone. But thank goodness I got a picture of it. That was word codes. People were threatening stuff upon me. Cops, FBI, or whoever it was threatening me to go back to work when I don't work at a gas station. She didn't like that. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. You need to quit bringing people in the middle of stuff because people are not gonna, like, get with it with people pulling stuff on me all the time. People just need to learn when to shut up at times. And for me talking and speaking, and plus the community mobbing would be Michelle Jones, Skylar Lemon, and Abigail Hampton. And then there was someone else on my Facebook that tried to do that with a whole bunch of people in their groups of people. And then someone admitted of having binoculars and stalking my home, which is not very smart at that either. So, like I said, Abigail Hampton just needs to learn when to shut up. Because you're bringing a lot of people in the middle of people trying to pull homicides on me. To attempts to unalive me is what you're doing. And then by what you said and your actions and what you do, like I said, you've done it 2 different times and stuff's happened towards me. It always seems to go back to her. It always seems to go back towards my attackers who are the real issues and the problems here. Or for whoever their accomplices associations are. And then it's also worse enough that someone admitted that they were stalking, harassing me. And they were trying to kill me off and hunt down my family. And she even had a part. Abigail Hampton even had a part in with Katrina Hendricks, who threatened to get my head cut off. And then she also was helping Autumn Ross, who apparently made like 4 fake Facebooks of me. And was like trying to pull something on me. And then Autumn and Katrina and Abigail Hampton were trying to get men to hurt me sexually. Out here. That's what I'm saying, though. You people are sick fucks. You people need to learn when to leave me the fuck alone. You need to quit messing and tampering with my evidence. Because you're making everybody look bad. You're going to make every person look guilty as hell. And you possibly made it worse that all these people I've mentioned, they can even be questioned. On a very, especially Abigail Hampton for what she said she was going to do. They could possibly blame her for something. She did. And plus, common sensely, when you tamper, or you're thinking it, or you said out of your own mouth, Abigail Hampton, you wish everything was deleted off my stuff. You said that out of your own mouth. You wish everything would be deleted. You just admitted of wanting to tamper with my evidence and proof I had against Enterprises, Rico Accent Organization, people harassing me with teenagers, and then the hit out on me in Lafayette, the sex trafficker, the dark web. That really don't look good. That means she's guilty. Or anybody else who encouraged her to do it. I honestly don't know who did it. But I know there was a whole bunch of names there. There was mainly community mobbing, death threats, gun threats, knife threats. Actually, at the exact same time when there was that headless dog with its head cut off, that was a death threat. There was shank threat, and then someone carved on the door was a rope threat. That's what I'm saying, though. You people just need to learn when to mind your own business and stop getting with people who has tried to pull attempts of homicides on me. You always like jumping with people who's trying to get me killed, always trying to get me jumped, always trying to get me attempted on. That says a lot about you people. It's really sickening and really gross. I'm getting really fed up with half these people. I put names down for a reason, so people knew who I was referring to. And it's because of who they were talking to. They started adding each other. They started all to be friends. That's what I'm saying, though. From what my old attackers have done to me since I've been a kid, it's been a pattern for like 31 years. Yeah. Really like a lifetime. I've already caught in my past life killers. And I've also had 2 other lives where I was actually killed. I was drowned as a baby. My first, or I can't remember if it was my first or second. But then something happened with a car wreck. I was pregnant and couldn't get out of the car. I drowned in a car. So I was killed in my 2 other past lives. And I've kind of noticed there's like dark spots on my lips. I had to look up that spiritual meaning. That means I've had nothing. Like, people were like torturing me. People were abusing me and beating me. They were trying to silence me to where I couldn't speak my truth. And every time I seen those dark marks on my lips, that is from a past lives to where people were trying to shut me up, where people would constantly were beating me and gagging me to where I couldn't speak my truth. Those dark spots once in a while pops up. I didn't realize that was like a scars from 2 past lives. That means I've been abused. I've always been attacked by people who won't let me speak my truth. And is always trying to pull something on me. So in my 3rd life, that is proof of something, of what I've dealt with in my 2 other past lives. But they're slowly going away. They're small, though. That's what that means. You've been abused. You've been gagged. You've been hurt and harmed because people want to shut you up. In my 3rd life, like as of right now, they're not as dark. They're starting to fade away. So that would explain it. That's why they always say, if you know your past lives and you know what you've been through, you can always catch your past life killers, abusers, attackers, and what they did to you. And they're trying to repeat it in my 3rd life. And I'm not about to sit here and tolerate people who's done things to me back then, or like a long time ago's, like lifetimes, into this 3rd life. I deserve to have a fucking peace in my life. I deserve to have a loving life, a peaceful life, and not have to deal with fucking abusers, narcissistic abusers. I shouldn't have to tolerate their BS. So just know and understand that. There's a whole bunch of people that were involved. And that is not my problem. That's not my issue. I have every right to share my proof and evidence. That's not hurting no one. And you have the right, so you have the right to do so, is share proof and evidence of what people has done towards my life. I was even told that if I have to share like proof and evidence to what I need to somewhat with facts, and then eventually it turns facts into evidence to where evidence and facts turns into truth. It's a testimony of what pretty much a person has survived that should have killed them. And some people are blessed to be here. Some of us don't. You know, like everything you've been put through. That's why people shouldn't be mocking. That's why people shouldn't be pushing you to a limit. People should learn how to leave people alone and stop terrorizing someone's life for a sick joke of entertainment. That shit makes me sick to my stomach. That makes me where I have nothing to do with half of these people. That's why I mainly stay to myself, because I don't trust people. Because of that, that's all they do. That's all they show me is nothing but hatred. That's all they show me. They either want to kill me, they're trying to be friends with me, and then trying to be nice to me, and then all of a sudden, when they're nicey towards me, I don't trust people. I will not go nowhere with anyone because I don't trust it. And that's how usually people gets attempted murdered on too. It's almost like a secret hate thing that some people think we're all dumb and stupid. No, we're not. I will not trust people. I don't trust folks. I'll only go somewhere with someone who I trust. Because I've already seen too many men and women who tries to think, oh, they're friends, then ends up dead by their killers. It's really sad and really pitiful that you really think that some people are your friends. They turn out to be your killers. They turn out to be your murderers. And then in their next life, they're going to catch who killed them in the next life. That would mean they're catching their past life killers. All their attackers, you're going to remember. You're going to know what these people did to you, what they've done. And that's why in your next life, that's why you have a lot of wisdom too. It's because of what you've been through. You're recognizing, you're understanding, you trust your intuition when it's time to speak, when it's time to record. It's like your mind knows when somebody's not acting right. You know when something's off. You do. Energies will never lie. And they never do. That's why you should always trust your gut intuition. And that's what I've always done. I've always trusted my gut. It's like that one night. I wanted to go get a soda. And I said, fuck, what the fuck's going to happen tonight? Because I really didn't feel like being out and about. Because I felt like something was going to happen. So I went to the gas station. Like I said, that was deleted. Where I had solid proof of predators following me. Because, well, let me get to it first. I went out to the gas station. And then I felt something really off. And there was like these people on their bikes. And I turned my head and I'm like, oh, fuck, great. What the fuck? I just want to go home. I don't want to deal with this. And then by the time I got to the library, I turned around. I thought, okay, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's not what I think. And then when I get straight to my apartment and I hit my sidewalk, long fucking behold, these kids followed me home. Predators followed me home from the gas station. Followed me home. Straight up. So I knew something wasn't right that night. And that's why a lot of people don't get it or don't understand it. To why I can know things before it happens. And actually, there's been a couple of times I have spoken up about stuff, and people took me as a joke. People were laughing. They literally thought, oh, well, that's just rumors and yada, yada, yada. And then come to find out, when something like those rumors were talked about, everybody would laugh and giggle, right? Until I started speaking up to what happened towards me, others started to quit laughing. People are starting to realize certain rumors are not rumors. So that means others are knowing exactly what others are trying to do towards me. They hear people bragging all the time. That's why I'm saying, no, I will always trust my gut intuition. I will always listen. Like, if I feel something off, something's off. And I'm not going to argue with a person right there in front of me. It don't matter if I'm by myself or if I'm around people. If they try to play that stupid shit with me, I don't play about that. If I feel something's off, something's off. They're not going to sit there and argue with me to how I should feel and how I shouldn't feel. They'll say, well, that's not a big... Yes, it is a big deal. Because usually, when you feel something's off for a reason. You're not just saying... You're not saying stuff like that. Like, it's... People don't enjoy that, okay? And actually, the way why people get so mad and angry is because I can prove it. I'm showing it to a somewhat degree of what I said. I can back it up. And then this is where I'm getting at. Everything I have somewhat backed up and proved. And then I was also talking about the courts too. That every time I've always gotten hurt by people, and I've always said, why are, like, the lawyers, I've even scared my lawyer one time, and I said, why are you helping these bikers to help them to hurt me? And the lawyer said, well, you should be careful about that. But I knew what was going on. That was also another thing there too. I've also seen that too. That certain lawyers and certain situations, they've always helped out bikers, and I've even proved it. That the cops, the lawyers, sometimes the justice system lets them get away with whatever they do towards me. And I've proven that, and I backed that up. And I've also proven that certain bikers and cops were ganging up on me too much. I've proven that too. I've proven a lot to back that up. And people can't really be mad at me because it is for what it is. It's seen for what it is. It's actually a good thing if you could prove that, because others can't seem to get that proof. Because the type of stuff I'm talking about is really hard to get proof about, facts-wise. People were admitting putting hits out on me. There were people admitting of having their people involved. I've even had proof of that Lafayette, that Sharon Boyker told me that I need to watch my back. That was a technical threat. Proof that there were cousins involved with different people too. Now, that's what I'm saying though. I don't understand most of why these people do what they do, because they're always going to get caught. And I'm usually good at understanding situations. I would just say for right now, if you don't know the whole entire situation, then just shut up, because you're going to look very stupid at the end of the day. You are. Because I've actually proven it. That Abigail Hampton and everybody else who was ganging up on me, they literally thought they knew everything, and apparently they did not. That's what makes people look like a straight up jackass. When, you have a pretty much like enemies trying to come at you, come for your neck, and they're trying to say, oh, well, you're not being harassed, you're not being attacked. I've proven it so many times that these people were looking very dumb and very stupid. And then there's times to where I had to literally defend myself, to where, why are these people nervous about? Like, I'm the one who should be getting restraining orders. I'm the one who should be really feeling in a certain way, but people has put me through so much crap that I've learned how to somewhat deal with it. I've learned how to cope with it. That's not really a good thing. And then about the barbed wire situation. Some people didn't know about that until I spoke upon it, but my family knows about that, actually, situation that night. And it actually shows on my neck from time to time, but like I said, I don't pay attention to that. So, just like I said, a lot of people should not be getting involved with anything, because that can actually hurt themselves. It can hurt their own reputations of what they were standing up for, where they know they should have not done it at the end of the day. So, just from seeing this and understanding this, seeing her saying that coming out of her mouth, that could be a good possibility that Rusty could have been actually Abigail Hampton, who tampered with my evidence. Could be a good possibility because of how she spoke, how the way she was saying things. And she does have a habit of trying to put innocent people in jail who didn't do anything towards her. She has a bad habit of doing that. And there's a lot of people who won't speak upon it. But I'm not afraid to, because it just shows that Abigail Hampton is trying to abuse the authority figures. She's trying to think that she can use the law figures to put fear, install fear into others. That is not what they're here for at the end of the day. The law is not meant to be used as a weapon towards nobody. And plus, law figures don't like it when they find out that their parent is abusing their kids and trying to blame someone else for it. They don't take that too kindly out here. And knowing what I've talked about and shared is actually experiences that I've seen and heard with my own eyes. There was actually a lot of people who were like mocking the situations. They were making fun of the situations at everything I've talked about. And then eventually people stopped laughing. They stopped mocking. People did stop attacking. But it's still the fact of seeing what she said out of her own mouth, of tampering with my evidence, is what I'm really questioning about at this point. She really needs to stop trying to bring everybody and everything and everybody in the middle of it, because she messed up. Like, she had no idea that there were cops and FBI and people putting hits out on me, people fucking with me. And then it also makes it look bad on her when she didn't know that the FBI and the cops were paying people to mess with me. That's around all that time when she was messing with me and Skylar Lemon. Makes me wonder, did they pay them too? All these people's names I mentioned, it kind of like I'm really questioning at this time too. Were they paid to screw with me? With the police and the FBI paid them to? You know, it's a really good question here, because that's what she was bringing people in the middle of. All of these people's names had no idea what the cops and the FBI and the secret society, the Freemasons, the occults were doing towards me. I had every person in power coming after me. And then I had people from different communities, different towns, cities, and states were coming at me at the exact same time. And then the community itself was attacking me. And I'm just one person. That looks very, very serious. And that looks like a real issue and a problem on their ends. So, pretty much, Abigail Hampton hurt a lot of people. And some of these hitmans are not always from in town. They're always out of town or out of states. And they seem to get caught every time. So, that's what she was having a part in. And she was helping out people, too. To do a lot of things towards me. You know, I really think at this point, if she honestly did tampered or tampering with my evidence because it came out of her mouth, you need to take accountability for what you said you were gonna do and then it happened. Just like her threat towards me. Something happened towards me. She needs to shut up. On a whole brand new level. Because that don't make her look any better. Of what she's doing, what she says, whatever she threatens. It seems like stuff has happened towards me too. That's why I always look at the situation where the problem and the issue is. It goes back to Abigail Hampton every time. Every time. And even actually law figures would look at Abigail Hampton as a suspicion, as a suspect, to why my YouTube and my proof and evidence is gone because of what she stated. That's a really good question right here. And it explains a lot too. So just like I said, people needs to start understanding when to stay out of someone's businesses, because she's hurting a lot of people at this time. And I can guarantee you, I have a strong feeling now after seeing what she said and how she's acted towards me before and what she said has happened towards me. It really wouldn't surprise me if she is the one who was rusty and who tampered with my evidence. It would not surprise me. Or she had her accomplices, or for whoever each person I've named off wouldn't surprise me. That she probably went towards somebody and they were probably freaked out. And maybe, like I said, from her actions, she's always trying to bring people into committing crimes of repeating patterns. So it really wouldn't surprise me if she's the one who did it or if she gotten someone else involved to do it. That's still committing a crime. That's still helping someone to commit something. That means people are guilty. They did not want to see my proof and evidence out there. My proof and evidence will get out there. My proof and evidence will not be silenced. And it will be known. At that too. So just know and understand that. That's everything combined of what she possibly didn't know. This is probably the what, why, like why, for reason to why she did what she did to my YouTube channel. She was scared. She was terrified. And she even stated in there that she says she's not scared of me. But she even said she's not intimidated of me. She's not terrified of me. She's not scared of me. She's not intimidated of me. Coming from Abigail Hampton, who says all these three things, she had to have been intimidated somewhere because she was trying to tamper with everything I had. Makes you question, huh? But I'm going to go and get off of here and hope you guys have a lovely day.